Hello and welcome to assignment number 2 Screencast for CIS 305. My name is Brian and today we're going to be talking about different SQL statements. The first one we're going to be talking about today is the distinct. And distinct is a statement used to return different or unique values. So when you want to do away with duplicate values and you only want to see distinct values, you can use distinct. As you can see here, the first time we use just regular select state, we would get 21 rows from the state from customer table, and we have duplicate California as you can see here. But when we do distinct dates, then we only get one instance of every state, bringing down our total number of rows to 13 and only showing every state one time. The next one we're going to talk about today is going to be top, and top is a statement that returns a specified number of records, and it's useful when you're working with very large data sets. Sometimes when you have a large number of records, it can impact performance. So this allows us to better specify our results. And in this instance, we only wanted the 10 top costing, or we just wanted 10 costs from the product table. So as you can see here, we only had 10 rows that populated because the user defined only 10. And this is the key difference between top and distinct, is that top is user defined. So we put in a specific number, where distinct just shows every single one that is not duplicated. We then have the like command, and like is an operator used to match or test a conditional term using a wildcard. And as you can see here, we use it to get items that end with the letter R, and that's because we put wildcard followed by the letter R. If we had put R and wildcard, we would have had words or items that start with R. So in this instance, we were able to match or test a conditional term using the wildcard, and our output reflect that by showing words that only end with the letter R. Next, we're going to be talking about the in command, and in is a clause that is primarily used when in conjunction with where, and is used to return values that match values in the list or subquery. These values are specifically defined by the user and can also be shown to values other than the ones defined by the user, as is the case with the not in clause. But going back to this one, as you can see here, we wanted to find states where there was California, Oregon, or Washington, and the output reflects that by only showing states from California, Oregon, or Washington. If we had put not in, we would have seen states other than the ones defined by us, the user, so we would have seen every other state besides California, Oregon, or Washington. So the difference between this and the like operator is that the output that we get is clearly defined by the user to be more than just words ending with. So in this instance, we have only states the in clause where it's California, Oregon, or Washington. Coming up next, we have the order by. An order by is a clause that is used to sort the data in ascending or descending order based upon one or more columns. Most databases sort queries in ascending order by default, but in this example, I chose to get the state order by the state in descending, so that way we go from Z to A instead of A to Z. And you can see here we go Washington, Vermont, and Utah. So as you can see here, we are ordering this column by descending order. The next one we're going to be talking about is the round, and round is a function which returns a number rounded to a certain number of decimal places. The decimal place is indicated by the number of decimal points returned. And as you can see here, I use a -1, and the negative number means the rounding will occur to the digit to the left of the decimal point. So -1 means the number will be rounded to the nearest tenths. As shown here, the example, the inventory ID is rounded from 565 to 570. So you can see here that the round function did, in fact, round it to the nearest tenths. Next, we're going to be talking about is count. And count is an arithmetic function in SQL. Count is used to count the number of rows selected in a select statement. The simplest way to use count would be to return a single number field that returns the total number of something. In this example, our select statement returns the number of female employees currently working at a company. As you can see here, it is just one output that we get, so the number of female employees at this specific company is actually just 10. So then after that, we do have the sum. And sum as a function is used to return the number of sum in an expression in the select statement. You will select a sum and use it to calculate the aggregate expression. In this example, we have aliased the sum quantity as total inventory units in order to display the total amount of items we have in our inventory. So as you can see there, we have 6,749 total units in the inventory from the inventory table. Next, we have the group by, and group by is a clause that groups records into summary rows. And this is useful because the output returns one record for each group. Group by usually involves the aggregate functions such as count, sum, average, and group by can also group records by one or more column. In this time, we wanted to use the count aggregate function, and we wanted to group them by state. So basically, I just wanted to see how many customers we have in each state. As you can see, California has 5, Arizona has 1. So then after that, we have the having, and having is a clause is used for combination with the group by clause to restrict the number of groups of return rows to only have those who the condition is true. This clause is needed because the where clause can't always group by the aggregate function, but the having clause in fact can. In other words, what is returned are only groups that meet the having criteria. Many times you will use the having clause in conjunction with the group by. And that is exactly what I did here. I was grouping by the product ID, and I used the aggregate function of sum because I wanted to know the products that sold more than 10, and as you can see here, there were only 4 rows or 4 products that met that criteria of being more than 20. So only 4 items sold more than 20 in total. The next one we're going to talk about is inner join, and inner joins are used to return rows where there is at least one match on both tables. As you can see here, from the left and right table, we only want the thing that's true for both. Effectively combining records from 2 tables, the joins locate related column values in the 2 tables. Inner join is the same as join because you only need to type the word join, not exactly inner. As you can see here, what I wanted to do here was make it so that we could get the sum of the cost and the cost which comes from the product table, and the items which comes from the order detail. So that way I was able to find out the total cost for, say, the computer in terms of sales. So we've sold $7,500 worth of computers and $1,500 worth of motherboards. The last one we're going to talk about is left outer join, and this join returns all rows from the left-hand table. Your left-hand table can be identified as a table specified on the on condition, and only those rows from the other table will be joined with the fields where they're equal, which is to say that the join condition has been met. Left join executes the same command as left outer join, so all you really need to type is left join. You don't necessarily have to put outer in there. So once again, those were all the SQL statements I was going to talk about today. I want to say thank you for sticking around and listening to this. Have a great day.